Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have something extremely cool to check out, though you can see currently they're not exactly standing on the base because we have ourselves a Passion Charger release. This is their Megaloceros, and what a really cool species for them to make. We really do not get Megaloceros models very often. In fact, the only one I know of is the Papo model, and when it comes to like resin kits and stuff like this, I feel like I might have seen one other at some point, but I'm not even 100% sure on that, and that shows you again how rare it is to even see a Megaloceros model. And these ones are actually really quite small because these are in 1/35th scale, so they're very, very small. We can bring my fingers in here and knock one over, but if we bring my fingers in here and you can see it next to my fingers, you can see how tiny that is. You know, it's not extremely small, but, you know, considering it is a 1/35th scale Megaloceros, it's not exactly the largest model in the world. But right now, they're definitely not in the most appealing position, considering they're just leaning here for us to check out. Let's go ahead, get a closer look at them, and then we're going to throw them up on the base and check them out from there. Now, of course, when it comes to a model like this, when it comes to a resin model, when you get them, they will be unbuilt, they will be unpainted, so it would then be up to you to paint them up and build them, which I think is honestly so much fun. I love building resin kits and models and stuff like this, and of course painting them up. But I do want to state that again, that before we even take a look at these, they are built and painted by me, so yours could turn out however you would like. But if you get nice and close here and you take a look at that head sculpt, if my camera would focus on it, there you go, you can see how beautiful that head sculpt is. It is absolutely gorgeous and honestly looks so alive. Passion Charger always does great work, but you can just really see so much realism and so much life in the head sculpt of that Megaloceros. You can also see that the eyes are sculpted very nicely, the nose is sculpted nicely, the mouth as well is sculpted beautifully, and there is some very nice fine fur in the face to the Megaloceros here. Obviously this is the male. I think that's pretty clear when you see the giant antlers up here, but you can see the ear as well as sculpted quite beautifully. As we move around here to the other side, you can see again just one of the most majestic looking Megaloceros I think you'll probably ever see. You can kind of see scruffier fur there hanging off of the underside of the Megaloceros, and when you move up there into those antlers, not only do they look extremely impressive when it comes to just the overall visual, but again, sculpt-wise, they look great. There's so many small cracks and crevices and so much fine detail within those antlers. Again, just showing off how incredible they look, but also how incredible this species is. As you move down into the neck, you can see again scruffier fur, especially leading along the underside. Finer fur as you move up higher into the neck. Obviously, our Megaloceros has a nice left turn currently going on here with the head. It's got its neck turned toward its left. As you continue to move back, you can kind of make out the shoulder blade right there. You can also see that the fur continues to look extremely highly detailed. Again, the detailing on this looks great, but also the quality of the model is beautiful. Like, it's extremely vibrant. As you lead down here into the leg, you can see that the front leg is picking up off of the ground as our Megaloceros is just kind of walking along. You can see the hooves down here as well. If my camera would focus on them, it's not doing such a great job on that. As you move back, you can see a little bit of girth in the stomach region here of our Megaloceros, looking nice and healthy and well fed. As we move back a little further, you can kind of make out the hip bone, some decent muscle definition here in the rear leg. This would definitely be a powerful animal, I would think. And then as you move down, you can see how it's kind of walking along. This foot is actually lifting up off of the ground as it's taking a step. You can obviously see the bend in the knee right there. We have the tail coming down along the back and curving in here, and you can also see if we turn the model around again, we have pretty much the same thing going on that we saw on the first side over here on this side, but again the legs are much more planted, especially the front leg. You can see is very firmly planted into the ground over here on this side, and then same deal for the rear leg here as our Megaloceros again is taking a few steps forward and just kind of surveying the landscape. And if you come up here and just kind of take a nice visual, you can really see how gorgeous the sculpt on this is, and you can also see the underside sports very impressive detailing. And then as you lead around the back, you can see even like scruffier fur leading off of the back of the thigh. So also the back of the antlers and everything looks extremely impressive as well. But definitely one of, if not the single best Megaloceros models in existence. Passion Charger always excels at what he does, but man, he is just so good when it comes to sculpting out different mammals. His Paraceratherium that I have in my collection is easily the best Paraceratherium I have. And then we have another one here, and this I would think would probably be the female. But again, you can just see so much beauty in these models. Like, that is such an elegant looking pose for this Megaloceros. Again, like I said, female version here. You can see that the head just looks beautiful as it kind of looks along. I've tried to paint it up as realistically as I possibly could, and also give them just a little bit of difference in color between the male and female, a little bit of a darker face, I think, for the female version compared to the male. You can see the ears are sculpted nicely. Again, the eyes are sculpted nicely. I tried to give them a nice gloss coat to make them shine fairly realistically. As you move down, we have that same similar style of kind of finer fur in the neck of this version. You can also see that this version has its head turned as well, but rather than turning its head to the left, this one is turning its head to the right, so a little bit of a different area that this one is looking into. Similar to the other one, this one is kind of taking a few steps along, though only one leg is really lifting up off of the ground on this one, which is the front right leg, whereas the other one had two legs lifting up off of the ground. Well, actually kind of looks like this leg's up a little bit higher than the other one, so maybe it is pretty similar when it comes to the pose of the other one. Almost the same, but obviously looking in a very different direction. And you can see again that we've also got the fur detail looking excellent on this. All sorts of variation to the fur as you move along. You can see scruffier and finer fur as you move through the course of the figure. Again, the hooves are all sculpted beautifully on the figure. You've got the tail again tucked into the back there behind the body. And again, same deal over here where you can see the legs kind of tensing and sticking straight out. Really nice sculpting of those as well. And again, the fur continues to look excellent over here. A little beefiness in the stomach, just like we saw with the other one. And again, the muscle definition, which you can kind of see in the rear leg here. A little bit of tensing in the shoulder area of this front leg. But again, they are both absolutely incredible versions of a Megaloceros, and I'm really excited to see that there is a female included with this set, giving you a nice pair. I've also never seen a model of a female Megaloceros. It's always the male. And then we've also got ourselves a nice base. The base is pretty small. You can see that there are like the hoof prints and everything here, so that you can kind of line the Megaloceros up with those to try to apply it to the base. I'm going to glue them on. I don't think it would stand without being glued, just because of the positioning of the body, again with the legs up off of the ground and everything, so I feel like it really does need to be glued on. But you can see like a little rock and stuff over here. We've also got a very small base for the female as well. Looks pretty much just like the first base, but really nice bases again to go with some absolutely gorgeous Megaloceros. Now, as far as the size, I feel like it might be a little tricky to get a good size on this one, just because I can't really stand it up since it's not on the base yet. But as far as the length from the snout to the back of the body, you're looking at around, if you go to the back of the leg, about 2¼ inches, or around 5½ centimeters in length for the male. And then for a height to the top of that antler, a little under 3 inches, or about 7½ centimeters. Now, obviously, these sizes will change a little bit once they're on the base, but the base isn't very tall, so it's not going to change much. As far as the female version, about 1¾ inches, or a little hair over 4½ centimeters, and then for a height from the back of the leg to the snout, about 2½ inches, or a little over 6 centimeters. And that's pretty much where we stand as far as the size goes. So I'm going to go ahead, get these guys glued onto the base, and then we'll check them out from there. And there we go. We now have both Megaloceros on their bases, and they look gorgeous. And what is actually really cool about these is you can take both bases and then kind of, there we go, put them together so they slide together, and then you can have both of your Megaloceros in a really nice diorama together, which is a very, very cool thing, because I like that you can kind of keep them together, or again, you know, make them their own individual displays. So very cool, very nice on the part of Passion Charger as always. As far as a size comparison goes, we have Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A Human Being next to our Passion Charger Megaloceros. And, these figures aren't something that I have many figures I feel like that will compare well with, because they're not like, something I get to review very often. Since Megaloceros isn't a common figure, there aren't many to compare with it, and I'm basically just going to, I think at this point, bring in just a few random comparisons to display with these guys. We've also got a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus stepping in next to our Megaloceros figures. And as I said, again, just totally random figures. We have the recent Papo Ionosaurus as well as the How Long Good Pseudoceratops in for another comparison. And then just in case you wanted to see the Papo version of the Megaloceros with the Passion Charger version, you can very clearly see the Papo version is a lot larger than we get with the Passion Charger release, but I will say that the Passion Charger version looks far superior, in my opinion, to the Papo version. And then one final comparison, just in case you are a Passion Charger collector, here is their Pseudoceratops that they had released a ways back next to our Megaloceros, just to give you one more idea of a size. So these Passion Charger Megaloceros models are both honestly gorgeous. I would say they may be two of the best models that I have seen come from Passion Charger overall. They've really done a great job not only of sculpting them out, but just generally giving them a nice dose of realism, I think. They really have a genuine lifelike look to them. They look, once you get some paintwork on them and you get a nice close shot of the face, again, they look actually alive. They are so nicely done. And on top of that, again, you have all of the fine detail that you would be expecting from a Passion Charger release. It is as highly detailed of a Megaloceros as you will find anywhere, sculpted out to perfection, in my opinion, with incredible fur detail throughout, as well as, again, the small things that you would expect to see, like muscle definition and tensing and stuff like that in certain areas of the body, depending on the position in the area that they are standing and stuff. And of course, the antlers are also extremely highly detailed. And the fact that we have both a male and female, honestly, I think, sets this a little bit higher than you would expect for a Megaloceros, because you really don't see people make female Megaloceros ever, because they always want to go for the male with the incredible antlers and everything. So it's just not something that you see all that often would be a female. And of course, again, seeing as these are resin models, you would have to build it and paint it, and I had a great time building and painting both of these. It's not something that I often get to do, would be paint prehistoric mammals, so it always feels almost like a challenge to me, and these specifically really were a challenge to me mentally, because coming into these I was almost extremely intimidated by painting something like this, because I don't do it very often. So I was very concerned whether or not I could have them look realistic and lifelike and stuff, and I'm very happy actually with the final result. I feel like I did at least an okay job on them, so you'll have to let me know in the comment section what you guys think of these. But of course, if you are interested in picking them up for yourself, I will include a link in the description to where you can contact Passion Charger on Facebook and order them through him directly. And of course, if you do not have social media, you can contact me and I can contact him for you to help you get an order in. One way or another, I highly recommend picking these up. If you are a fan of Megaloceros, these are honestly a must-have, and you can actually pick these up in larger scales as well. I think they might have them in 1/15th scale, so you can get a much larger version of these. But again, make sure you check that link, grab yourself some of these amazing Megaloceros, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.